Welcome back. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Across the West, we're seeing the devastating impacts of a massive drought. For a closer look, News 8 is partnering with our stations across the region for a series we're calling Scorched Earth.
Our series continues tonight with News 8's Steve Price, meeting with a Scripps Ranch woman whose home burned to the ground nearly 20 years ago. She tells us about the painful rebuilding process and what she's learned along the way.
Our drought conditions going from bad to worse, sparking fears that this could be our most devastating wildfire season in years. So if you had just 10 minutes to evacuate from your home, what would you grab? A fire victim shares her list and lessons learned.
Gotta go! Now, let's go!
You got about 2 minutes to get out of here. 2 minutes.
You must leave your residences at this time.
The flames came racing in at 60 miles an hour.
There was 30 seconds to get out. The fire was here on the back of this hill.
Karen Remus's family lost their house that day and everything inside it. The 2003 Cedar Fire spared no mercy on San Diego County, destroying more than 2,200 homes. When Karen was allowed back into her neighborhood 2 days later, she returned to a scene that will forever be burned into her memory.
It was ash in the air. The air was still, brown, and just everything was just charred rubble and ashes.
The fire took Karen's home, but it also ignited a thirst for knowledge, not only to help her family rebuild what they lost, but also to better prepare her for the next fire.
Something somebody could do right now, this is an important one, is I would say make your 10-minute, your 30-minute, and your 1-hour evacuation checklist.
There's no longer any more time to grab a position.
In other words, if you only have 10 minutes to pack up and get out, what do you grab first? More time, move on to your 30-minute list, but make those decisions now when you have the time to really think about it.
Even when the pre-evacuation order comes, it's nerve-wracking. It's very anxiety-inducing, especially if you have kids.
Karen keeps the information on her phone, and in case you're wondering, her family unanimously voted that number one on their list is the urn holding their beloved dog's ashes.
Definitely number one on my list is sentimental on that 10-minute list, plus immediate medication.
Karen also has pre-packed boxes with important documents that can quickly be grabbed. Another tip, go through your house now with the camera and document everything.
Open drawers, what's in those? Open cabinets, right? The drawers that have, your shorts, your pants, your shoe rack. I mean, those are the things that you have to inventory if you have a total loss, I know.
And Karen warns a total loss is very different than any contact you've ever had with an insurance company because you're dealing with several separate claims at once, not just the rebuilding of your house.
Debris removal, additional living expense coverage, landscape. I can name off at least 5 or 6 pieces that are each kind of like separate claims unto themselves.
Even with Karen's tenacity, her rebuild took 21 months, and her number one lesson learned: underinsurance is a huge problem. She thought she had complete coverage, but quickly discovered that more than 50% of all homeowners are underinsured, and she was in that group.
Here in California, frankly, many other states, is if that number is incorrect, in most cases, the homeowner is left holding the bag.
Her insurance company's first offer was more than $100,000 less than her loss, and it took a frustrating fight to finally reach what Karen calls an amicable resolution, which is why she recommends this website, United Policyholders, which has insurance information that's useful both before and after a fire.
The website is just chock full of free, consumer-friendly information. It doesn't cost anything, it's all free, and it's right there.
One final tip, become familiar with wildfire monitoring. Following local and state fire agencies on social media is a great start.
They are often posting and tweeting to keep people up to date. Those are phenomenal resources.
By the way, Karen has already put her own tips to good use. You see, just 2 years after moving into her rebuilt home, Another fire forced her family to evacuate again. In Scripps Ranch, Steve Price, News 8.
Thanks, Steve, and thank you, Karen, for sharing those tips with us. Coming up tomorrow in our next Scorched Earth report, from Blackhawks to Firehawks, we'll see how former military choppers are being reconfigured for a different type of battle, this one against wildfires. And they can do things no regular fire chopper can. That's tomorrow night at 6. And Carlo, I know you and I have both lived through a couple of fires, and you do those things. You make the lists, and you take the video of all your stuff, right after a fire, but it's been a while. We may need to update those lists.
It's a regular habit. It's something you need to revisit, especially that insurance coverage,
Right.
especially the important documents. Have them ready, safe, ready to go, or copied and digitized. That's a tool that a lot of people forget to use that can put things up on the cloud and keep them safe.
Take the time to do that now before something happens, and you'll be better prepared
Yeah.
to try and recoup your losses.